Hello Middle 2. Today we'll explain lesson 4. Number 1. What is the importance of the water? Number 1. All living organisms, animal and plant, even microbes can't live without water. And it's the most important transportation between countries and the continent. Many countries, including Egypt, depend on water to generate electricity. So we need to talk about the source of water. River, seas, ocean, wells, and spring is the most important source for water, and Asia is the most continent using of water in agriculture field, and Europe is the most using of water in industrial field. Southern USA is the most important in personal. So, what is the structure of the water? Water have two hydrogen atoms and oxygen that link it together by single covalent bond. And the angle between hydrogen and the oxygen and the hydrogen in single covalent bond is 104.45. So, inside the water molecule, we have two hydrogen and oxygen. So, contain single covalent bond, but between water and another water molecule is linked together by hydrogen bond. So, what's meant by hydrogen bond? Hydrogen bond is weak electrostatic attraction force that originates between molecules due to large electronegativity of oxygen and water and another water molecule. There are hydrogen bond. Oxygen, as we noted before, have higher electronegativity than hydrogen. So it's attract the electron toward itself higher than hydrogen. And hydrogen bond are weaker than covalent bond, but they has and give special. Number 1, water is found in 3 states of matter, like gas, water vapor, liquid in water, solid in ice crystals. Number 2, water is good polar solvent. What's meant by polar solvent? That can dissolve and can soluble the ionic compound like table salt, that sodium chloride, and some covalent compound like sugar that can form hydrogen bond with the water, so it can dissolve. But oil is from covalent compound but can't dissolve because can't form hydrogen bond with water. And number 3, rising of its polar and freezing point. Water freeze at temperature less than 0 Celsius. And boiling point is less than 100 Celsius. So the abnormal properties of water is coming from hydrogen bond. Number 4, water has low density when it freezes, like ice. Ice has in solid state has lower density than water. That due to when temperature of water is less than 4 Celsius, the water molecule collected together by hydrogen bond and give shape of ice crystals, and that has a hexagonal shape that has a large volume, large space. So the water has a density in solid state is lower than density of liquid state. So it's used in preservation of marine aquatic. Number 2, chemical properties. Water has neutral effect on both litmus paper. What's meant by neutral effect? That can't change the color of red or blue litmus paper. So the water has neutral effect. Number 2, when use water for electrolysis by Hofmann voltmeter. What's meant by electrolysis? That breaking down water by using electricity. So we need device. It's called Hoffman voltmeter that has anode and the cathode, and we need a circuit and connect it together for 10 minutes. So what can observe? We observe that there are gas evolve on both anode and the cathode, but one of them contain doubled volume and the another one have a small volume. And when approach a glowing splint, we notice that the evolved gas above anode makes glowing splint, so it's oxygen. And the gas that evolve above cathode burn with Bob sound. Bob sound, that means the gas is hydrogen, and the hydrogen has 2 hydrogen atoms in water, but oxygen has 1 atom in the water. So the amount of hydrogen that above cathode is doubled for the amount of gas that collect or above anode. So the hydrogen is doubled. So 2H2O by using sulfuric acid give 2 hydrogen molecules and 1 molecule of oxygen. And we conclude that acidified water decomposed by electricity into hydrogen and oxygen, and the volume of hydrogen is twice to the volume of oxygen. So pure water can't decompose or can't broken down by electricity, but when put acid inside the water, like sulfuric acid to pure water, to make pure water good conductor of electricity. So next point is talk about water pollution. When put a waste of industrial or agriculture that make water polluted, and they change the properties like taste and color and smell. So it's harmful for living organisms. And what's meant by water pollution? Addition of any substance to the water that cause continuous change in its properties and effect on health of living organisms on which we depend. So what is a kind of water pollutant? We have 2 sections of water pollutant: nature pollutant and artificial pollutant. Nature pollutant is come from nature phenomena like volcanoes and thunderstorm, which cause the death of some living organisms. Number 2, artificial pollutant. Their sources are different, coming from human activity. So we have many kinds of water pollutant like biological pollutant, chemical pollutant, and thermal. And biological pollution is coming from mixing animal and human wastes with the water that make the water harm and give infection by many diseases such as bilharzia and typhoid and hepatitis. Number 2, chemical pollution is coming from discharging factors and sewage in seas and give many diseases like when eating fish which contain high concentration of lead cause death of brain cells, and when drink water contain mercury causes blindness, and when drink water contain high percentage of arsenic increase the rate of infection of liver cancer. Number 3, thermal pollution. It is from the rise of temperature of some marine zone which use in water for cooling nuclear reactor. So they take the hot water and put inside the seas or ocean that make the water become higher temperature, so it causes destroy of marine organisms due to separation of dissolved oxygen and water that can't breathe. Number 4, radiant pollution. It's from leakage of radioactive substance from nuclear reactor and or dumping of atomic waste in seas and oceans. What we can do to protect water: getting rid of phenomenon of discharging of sewage and factors waste and dead animal in river and seas. Development of water purification station and making periodic analysis to determine the rate of its validity for drinking. Spreading environmental awareness among people about protection of water from pollution. Disinfecting drinking water tanks above building periodically. Don't store the tap water in plastic bottles of mineral water because they react with chlorine gas, which used in disinfecting of water, so increase the rate of infection. So let's have a quick summary. The property of the water: good polar solvent, rising of its boiling point and the melting point. It has a low density when it's freeze, weakness of its ionizations. It has a neutral effect on both litmus paper, resistance to analysis. And thank